Stop everything you are doing right now, because the Who Dat Nation is facing a total nightmare scenario that could rip the heart out of our offense. We are talking about the ultimate Swiss Army knife, and a guy who defines what it means to be a saint being linked to a rival. This news is breaking my heart, and we need to stick together as a tribe to survive this off-season madness. We are pushing for 3,000 subscribers to keep this community strong, so please hit that button and join the family, because we are diving deep into chaos. I need you to really hear me when I say that Taysom Hill is not just another player on the roster, because this man is the absolute definition of New Orleans grit. We are looking at a guy who has given his blood and his bone to this city for 9 long years, and now we are hearing reports that a reunion with the Green Bay Packers is actually on the table for the 2026 season. Can you even imagine the pure disrespect of seeing him back in that green and yellow jersey after everything we built together here in the Superdome? The reports coming from Wendell Ferreira at OTAs Sports are pointing to a reality where Matt LaFleur gets his hands on our most versatile weapon because the Packers finally realized they messed up back in 2017. It was almost a decade ago when Green Bay had him as an undrafted rookie, and they were foolish enough to cut him thinking they could sneak him onto their practice squad, but Sean Payton saw the fire in his eyes and claimed him off waivers to turn him into a legend. Since that day, he has been our personal Swiss Army knife and our human highlight reel, playing every single position from quarterback to tight end and even special teams. He has racked up over 3,000 yards and 45 touchdowns from scrimmage, while adding over 2,000 passing yards, which is just a ridiculous stat line that no one else in the NFL can even touch. Now at 35 years old, people are saying he is slowing down, but we know better, because that athleticism is still there, and it is visceral. The Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst is out here saying he never feels like the roster is complete, and that he is working 365 days a year to find pieces, and it feels like they are hunting our guys. This would be the ultimate betrayal if it happens, because Taysom belongs to us, and seeing him leave for the very team that did not want him in the first place is a bitter pill to swallow. What do you think about the management letting it get to this point where our icons are looking elsewhere for a home while we are trying to rebuild? But wait, because it gets even crazier and more painful for those of us who have followed every snap of his career. There is some raw truth coming out that suggests this is not just some random rumor or speculation from a sports writer. We have to look at what is happening in his personal life, because Fox 8 reporter Garland Gillen just dropped a massive bomb that has everyone in New Orleans shaking. Taysom Hill has officially put his home in the old Metairie neighborhood up for sale, and it is currently listed on Zillow for $2.75 million. When a player sells his house in the city he has called home for nearly a decade, it usually means the end is near, and it feels like a punch to the gut. They do not want you to know how deep this goes, but he and his family have already built what they call a dream home in Utah near BYU, where he went to college. It feels like he is mentally and physically checking out of Louisiana and preparing for a massive life change that could lead him straight back to the frozen tundra. This emotional pivot from being a franchise staple to being a free agent on the move is just devastating for the fans who bought his jersey and cheered his name every Sunday. It is a terrifying thought to see him leave our culture and our food and our energy to go back to a place that let him walk once before. The tension is rising because the Packers have had a quiet offseason, and they are desperate for an impact player who can fill multiple holes on their roster. They lost a lot of talent recently, and they have done almost nothing to replace it, which makes Taysom the perfect target for them to steal from us. I am losing my mind thinking about him scoring a touchdown against us in a Packers uniform, while we sit here wondering what went wrong with our front office. We are talking about a player who has survived coaching changes and roster purges, but this time it feels different. The silence from the Saints organization is deafening right now, and it makes me wonder if they even realize what they are about to lose as we head into this crucial period. Now we have to talk about the competition and the threats that are looming over our season, because the redemption arc for the Packers would be a disaster for us. Green Bay is starting their OTAs on May 26, and they are looking for depth pieces to solidify their roster before the 2026 season kicks off. They have these huge holes in their lineup, and their general manager is practically begging for veteran talent to come in and lead the way for their young squad. If Matt LaFleur gets his hands on Taysom Hill, he is going to use that creativity to haunt us, because he knows exactly how to exploit a player with that kind of skill set. The Packers are looking at this as a chance to fix a mistake they made years ago, while we are looking at it as losing a piece of our identity. It is a high-stakes game of chess, and it feels like we are losing our best pieces before the match even begins. What happens if this news goes right for them and Taysom finds a second wind in Wisconsin, while our offense struggles to find a rhythm without him? It would be a complete disaster for our morale and our standings in the NFC, because you cannot just replace 45 touchdowns worth of production with a random free agent. I want to be the insider you trust, and I am telling you that this situation is moving fast and the house sale is the biggest red flag we have seen yet. We are being told that his future remains unclear, but the writing is on the wall, and it is written in green and gold ink. The Saints are in a position where they need to make a move to keep him, or they need to find a way to move on without losing their soul in the process. We are talking about a guy who played quarterback when we were in a bind and played tight end when we needed a blocker and played special teams when we needed a stop. He is the ultimate teammate, and losing him to a rival like the Packers is something that should make every single Saints fan angry. We need to demand answers from the management about why our players are looking for the exit. I am seriously losing my mind here because this whole situation feels so avoidable if our leadership just stepped up and showed some loyalty. Unbelievable is the only word I can use to describe the feeling of watching a legend pack his bags, while the front office stays quiet about their plans. This script for the 2026 season is starting to look like a tragedy for the Who Dat Nation, and I am not here for it. We need to have some fast-paced analysis on why this move makes sense for them but hurts us so deeply. The Packers need a gadget player who can provide veteran leadership, and Taysom is exactly that guy who can mentor their young players while still producing on the field. But the heavy emotional reflection here is that Taysom represents the Sean Payton era and a time when we were feared by everyone in the league. Seeing him leave feels like the final nail in the coffin of that golden age, and it is hard to accept that we are in a full reconstruction phase. I have a secret theory that Taysom actually wants to prove he can still play at a high level, and he feels like the Saints are not giving him that chance anymore. Maybe he feels like the new system does not have a place for a 35-year-old unicorn who defies all the traditional rules of football. It is a slow and painful realization that our heroes are human and they have to make choices for their families and their legacies, even if it breaks our hearts. Seriously though, just think about the energy in the dome without number 7 running down the sideline on a fake punt or smashing through the line for a crucial first down. It is going to be a quiet and lonely place without that spark that he provided every single game. This is the raw and honest truth that nobody else wants to say, because they are afraid of the reality of our current situation. We are a community that thrives on passion, and Taysom was the embodiment of that passion for nearly a decade of football excellence. I am truly worried that we are letting a piece of our history walk out the door for nothing, and it is driving me absolutely crazy. This all leads us to a massive crossroad for the future of the New Orleans Saints and the vision we have for this team. If Taysom Hill actually signs with the Packers and moves his life to Utah, it marks the definitive end of an era that we will never forget. We are looking at a future where we have to find a new identity and a new spark to lead us back to the top of the mountain. This news about the house sale and the links to Green Bay should be a wake-up call for every single one of us in the Who Dat Nation. We cannot just sit back and watch our culture be dismantled piece by piece without making our voices heard. I want to see your fire in the comments below because I need to know how you feel about this. Is this our year to finally rebuild correctly, or are we being let down by a front office that does not value our icons? Tell me if you think Taysom is making a mistake or if we are the ones who failed him. Your passion is what keeps this channel alive, and we are so close to reaching our goal of 3,000 subscribers, so please make sure you hit that button and join the tribe. We are building something special here, and we need every single one of you to be a part of this journey as we navigate these crazy waters. This is more than just football, it is about our community and our pride as Saints fans. I will be reading every single comment and responding to your theories, because we are in this together through the wins and the losses. Let's show the world that the Who Dat Nation is the strongest and most loyal fan base in the entire world, no matter what happens with the roster. Keep your heads up and stay loud, because our voices are the only thing that can change the direction of this franchise. It is time to stand up and represent the city we love. Who Dat?